Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my Forbes colleague, staff writer Zach Everson. Zach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me back.
You are reporting that a Trump Media board member has sold nearly all of his shares. And the Trump Media board member in question is Eric Swider. So talk to us about his history with Trump Media.
He started off as a member of the board of directors with Digital World Acquisition Corp. That is the blank check company that merged with Trump Media and took it public. So at first he was just a member of the board of directors. Then he became the interim CEO. Then he became the full-time CEO. And then after the merger went through, he stepped down from the CEO role, which was taken over from both companies by former Republican Congressman Devin Nunes. And Swider has stayed on, though, as a member of the board of directors.
And Zach, you and I talked about that SPAC merger every step of the way. It was a saga that lasted over 2 years long. It was a merger between Digital World and Truth Social parent company Trump Media. Talk to us about that merger because it wasn't without its own set of challenges.
No, it was essentially the Love Island of financial mergers, where it took 29 months to complete in the first place. That's not supposed to take that long. During that time, a former Digital World board member was convicted of insider trading. The company admitted to 2 years of unreliable financials, paid $18 million in penalties to the SEC for failing to disclose that its talks with Trump Media had actually started before they were legally supposed to. And then after the merger finalized, we've continued to see some issues here where Trump Media's co-founders have sued over allegedly diluted stakes. Trump Media countersued those guys, and both of it's in pretrial motions right now. And then the company also had to replace its auditor after the SEC accused the accounting firm BF Orgers of, quote, massive fraud, which is never something you want to hear about your auditor. It involved more than 250 clients, didn't just involve Trump Media, but that BF Orgers agreed to pay a $12 million fine and an industry ban. So there's been a lot going on with this company.
So a messy moment in time, for sure, that really lasted over 2 years. But now going back to Eric Swider, how many shares did he have? How much did he make selling them? What do the financials there look like?
So he received about 150,000 shares when the merger took place in March 2024. And then he later received another 26,000 in January 2025 through an incentive plan. In November 2024, he sold most of those shares, 136,000 of them. And then over the last 3 or 4 months, he's been making additional sales, whittling his holdings down to about 17,500 shares.
And is there any indication of why he's selling off these shares? I mean, he's offloading around 90%. You're shaking your head no. Tell us more.
Right. He didn't comment to us. We didn't get a response from anybody else at Trump Media about it. There's no reason was given in these filings. Sometimes there is a reason. Devin Nunes has sold some of his shares, but there's always been a reason stated that this is just to cover withholding taxes that he has. So it's no cash goes to Devin Nunes. There's no reason like that is given here. So there's really just speculation. He is involved in another SPAC. He and Devin Nunes have launched a new one. I don't know if he's taking the money from this one to invest in that. Again, he didn't tell us. It doesn't look like he's commented publicly on it at all.
I mean, zoom out for a second. What does it typically indicate when a board member of a company sells off most of their shares? Does that indicate anything? I mean, read the tea leaves.
Right. It certainly could. It certainly could indicate that there are problems with the company. In this instance, he is the only member of the board who seems to be selling his shares, selling that many of his shares. There's 7 board members. The other 6 don't seem to really be doing much in terms of selling their shares. Trump hasn't sold any of his. He still has his 115 million shares out there. So he hasn't sold any of his either. So not quite clear, what's motivating Swider to sell his shares.
And I mean, it's not exactly a vote of confidence seeing a board member offload 90% of their shares. How long is he on the board here? Is this also indicating he could be leaving soon?
His term expires in 2027. So, he's not leaving anytime soon. I mean, obviously a board member can step down before their term ends, but he does have a couple more years remaining there to stay on the board.
And you mentioned there's the band is getting back together of sorts between Eric Swider and Devin Nunes. They're involved in a new SPAC. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, which is great. We talked about all those problems that these two guys had when they last tried to merge firms, and hey, we're doing it again. Maybe it just didn't work out well the first time. Lessons learned. Let's give it a second shot. It's called Readiness Tactical Acquisition Corporation. I believe is how you pronounce it. It's targeting acquisitions in crypto, cybersecurity, and dual-use tech, which are sectors that have significant regulatory and government involvement, which, yes, means that the Trump administration could be involved in them. Now, there's no guarantee they're going to end up merging with a firm in those sectors. That's just what they're aiming for. Swider owns 50,000 shares in that enterprise directly and controls another 5 million through an LLC. So we'll see, very interested to see who they end up merging with.
And that's interesting that SPAC is focused on crypto and cybersecurity because Trump Media is also setting its sights on the crypto space. They're raising money to build a corporate Bitcoin reserve. Why now all of this focus on cryptocurrency?
Money for nothing. Trump famously said he didn't think crypto was great. It was basically thin air. And, somewhere along the line, he realized, hey, there's money to be made out of thin air. Why sell sneakers? And why don't you just focus on that stuff and hats when you can sell crypto? So you're seeing this, that he has multiple crypto ventures right now. Obviously Trump Media is launching its, had a sale where it sold stock to institutional investors, which it used to start its own Bitcoin reserve. It's launching the Bitcoin ETFs. It talked about using a token in connection with its streaming platform. Separately, there's the Trump meme coin, which is available for purchase. There's also World Liberty Financial, which is Trump's decentralized finance endeavor. And that enterprise, was selling tokens, which would kind of like an ownership stake in it. They were non-transferable. It just announced the other day that they are going to become transferable, which frees up Donald Trump and his family's stake of 22.5 billion tokens that they can use. And then also it has a stable coin, which is pegged to the dollar and backed with U.S. reserves, which the Trumps stand to profit from interest from those reserves. So, we've got a lot of different areas that the president's ventured out into in the crypto area.
And we are covering them all. Thank you so much, Zach. Until next time.
I'm sure there'll be a next time soon. Thanks.